The 13th Economic Cooperation Organization Summit has concluded in Islamabad. The members have agreed to work together for progress and prosperity. But is this summit likely to achieve anything tangible, or was this merely a photo opportunity? We talked to Dr. Ibrahim Kalin, Chief Foreign Policy Advisor to Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, as well as his spokesman. You're watching TRT World, and this is One on One Express. Dr. Kalin, thank you for talking to TRT World. Now, President Erdogan has emphasized that the focus of the ECO should not just be economic matters, but also political matters as well. Does the President feel that the ECO is not playing an effective role?
Well, the President was rightly referring to the close connection between politics and economics. Without political stability, you cannot have really economic prosperity. And in this eco countries, if you look at the true potential, economically speaking, it's huge. It's currently has a volume of about $1.7 trillion. Part of the future of the world, in fact, lies in here in terms of energy, the Silk Road potential, what I call regional ownership. You know, if the countries can come together and put political leadership and will to improve and expand these economic relations, things will enter a new course. So the President was referring to that. Without political will, you cannot have economic success.
There has been much talk of economic cooperation, but are we expecting anything substantial, anything tangible to come out of this, or is it merely symbolic?
Well, it was not just simply symbolic. The leaders have met. Our president met with President of Azerbaijan and Tajikistan. He will be meeting also with presidents of Turkmenistan, Iran, and of course Pakistan and others. So we are working on bilateral but also multilateral relations. For example, our trade volume with the eco countries, especially in Central Asia, including Pakistan, has almost quadrupled over the last decade or so. So that's really a very, very tangible outcome. The second one, of course, the energy corridor. You can talk about the Turkmen gas going all the way from Turkmenistan all the way to Europe. As you know, we are building the TANAP pipeline with Azerbaijan, which will be the largest gas pipeline in the world, and that will bring the Central Asian energy resources to world markets. So these are things that are developed in this kind of platforms, but also in bilateral meetings. Another thing, of course, that was of interest to many participants here is the Chinese project of building the Silk Road in a modern, updated way. Of course, it's a huge, almost global project in which many countries will participate. Therefore, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Turkey, and they will all be part of this. Already, they're kind of partly part of this, but it's going to improve.
Speaking of the free trade agreement, Turkey and Pakistan were supposed to sign FTA some time ago. They missed the deadline last year as well. Why the delays?
Well, it's about the list. As you know, when they have this concession lists in the free trade agreement, obviously countries look at their strong points and weak points, and they try to meet somewhere in the middle. And our economy minister has been working on this. As you know, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif was in Ankara last week for the High Council strategic meeting, and they came very close to completing the free trade agreement. One or two issues in the textile business. Obviously, both countries are very strong in the textile business, and we don't want any clash of interest there, but rather perhaps a gradual transition to a common market on textile, so that free trade agreement can be completed. But speaking of Turkey-Pakistan relationship, allow me to underline the significance of that relationship, not only in terms of economics or free trade agreement, but also politically, historically, culturally. We've had this very special relationship with Pakistan from its inception. As you know, this year marks the 70th anniversary of the diplomatic relations between Turkey and Pakistan, and we are planning a number of activities to celebrate the 70 years, which have seen really remarkable flourishing of relations at various levels between Turkey and Pakistan. People of Pakistan and the government of Pakistan have always stood with Turkey, in its difficult times, in its fight against terrorism, and Turkey has reciprocated in the same way, because both countries fight against this common menace of terrorism. As you know, we are fighting against the PKK on the one hand, and Daesh or ISIS on the other hand, and other terrorist organizations in our part of the world. And Pakistan has been fighting against terrorism. Just recently there was a bomb attack and many innocent lives were lost. So we feel the same and we understand how painful it is. But also I believe we have the common will to address these issues. And of course this came up in the summit here also, and our president raised as one of the political issues in his intervention the fact that we have to fight against terrorism altogether, and we reject in absolute terms any claim that Islam has anything to do with violence. Those who commit violence in the name of Islam do not represent Islam. They are not even Muslims. They are violent extremists regardless of their religion or ethnicity, and we have to fight against them.
Dr. Ibrahim Kalin, thank you very much indeed for talking to TRT World.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you.